All right. Hi, everybody. Um, I'm going to be recording a series of videos here, just going through this blocking and camera movement training that we developed, and just do little um, 5 to 10 minute videos where we go through the slides here. So we had some special announcements here just for um, we did this online, but we're going to skip through those for now. And so blocking is just the movement of characters and cameras within a scene. So yeah, just how you decide to have the actors move and have where you decide to put the cameras and how the cameras move within the scene. That's blocking pretty much. So there's kind of a method in which you shoot, um, like a standard method in which you shoot a scene. Um, and in that, you start with just blocking the scene out with only the actors. So you have the director, the actors, and the AD, and they just run through the scene um, and kind of try to decide, where the actors are going to go, where they're going to deliver their lines. Um, Not really too much decided on how they're going to deliver their lines yet, but um, I think that this is kind of an important step where you, as the DP, could could make some small suggestions in terms of where the characters go, what they're doing, um, just like things like that that will ultimately end up informing where your cameras are going. After you've blocked it, and you'll kind of decide where the cameras go, um, and then you'll start to light. Um, so then the actors will go away. They'll go in hair and makeup, get mic'd up, things like that, and then you'll start to light. And since the actors are away at this point, you'll use what's called second team. So either stand-ins or anybody else on the crew that is available at that time. at that time. So um, you will, and usually it's preferable to have your stand-ins same height, hair color, complexion as the actors. Just makes it much easier to set your levels and um, and figure out, if a light is going to be seen in the shot, or um, if the brightness level of a light is good. So after you have lit it, then you're going to rehearse it. Um, you definitely try it once at least with second team um, first, and then work out the kinks there, see if there's anything you need to change. Then bring the actors in um, and rehearse it once with them. And then once you've done that, you'll be able to tweak um, and just make whatever small changes you want to make. Obviously, at this point, you're not relighting the entire scene. Hopefully, you've got it pretty dang close. But maybe, with the real actors in there, you realize that some levels could be adjusted, or, some things like that. Then you shoot it. And after you've shot it, if you're going to continue on shooting the same scene, you're pretty much going to continue doing this same process. Um, you'll skip the blocking step because you've already blocked the scene, and you'll just turn around looking in another direction, and then you'll light it, rehearse, tweak, shoot again and again. That's pretty much it. So as far as blocking actors goes, at this point, it's just I think it's good to not think about the camera too much and just focus on the story and the actors' motivations. Um, it's really easy to get caught up in thinking about all the shots at this point, and I just personally I find it to be a bit of a distraction, as it kind of makes the actors end up doing things that aren't right for the story and don't really make sense in terms of what the actors actually would do, or what the characters actually would do. So yeah, So you want to, use a story for motivation. Just like an example is like if there's an argument between two characters, then maybe you can have them start. Maybe it's in a large room or something. They start further away from each other. As they start to argue, they stay that distance apart, and as they start to make up, they start to come closer together. Which can totally dictate how you're ultimately going to shoot it. Maybe you have a wide with lots of space in between the characters, and then you mostly show them in singles, and then as they start to make up, then you do more of two shots, things that show them together. The other thing is just to try and give people action. So, two people talking to each other is just pretty boring, and doesn't really give the actors very much opportunity to just to like emote through their actions. Um, so, um, so just like an example of this is like um, instead of having two people sitting outside um, talking at a table, maybe they're getting breakfast ready or something like that, and they're moving around and you know plating things up, things like that. It just gives them reason to be there, and it'll kind of make the blocking a little bit more interesting. Freedom is really important when you're blocking with actors. I think as a DP, it's like a lot of the. I feel like a lot of what we do is like impose limitations. It's like, oh well, you can't go over there because the light's no good, and oh, don't look this way, and all that. So just trying to remove those kind of limitations as much as possible. And I mean that um, could be as simple as just making sure that the set is clear of lights and um, that there's nobody blocking doorways or anything like that, and you just have uh, more control. So now just getting into placing cameras. Um, so it's always good practice just to always start with the wide. Um, there are exceptions to this. We won't talk about them quite yet, but when you're figuring out where cameras are going to go, just figure out first where is your master in the scene. And once you've figured out where that master is, how long it holds for, um, then you can start to figure out, okay, well, what other pieces of coverage do we need? Or do we even need other pieces of coverage? So um, just important to figure that out first. Um, then just always just try and shoot out one side at a time. So once you figure out your wide shot, then you're going to want to punch in um, from that direction, and continue to punch in and get all the coverage that you need looking that way. And then once you've finished with that side, then you're going to turn to the left or turn to the right and shoot all the coverage facing in that direction, and then turn around and get all the coverage facing the other direction. Jumping back and forth from turning around, then turning around again, it's just really time consuming, and can be pretty pretty painful for crew morale if you keep doing that. Just like one rule of thumb is that if you have a wide and a tight of the same shot, if you just make sure that your focal length is at least double the wider shot. So if you have a 25 mil for a wide and then you have a tight 50-50, you should at least be on a 50 millimeter lens. And I think we're going to stop there, actually. So come back for lighting. Continue to watch the next video. Thank you.